Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
We will see the applications of ultrasound. Now these are very high frequency sound waves, right? This we have studied earlier. These are high frequency sound waves whose frequency is more than 20,000 hertz. The first application where we use is, it is used to detect the flaws in metal blocks, the solid metal blocks. When we talk about metal blocks which are solid from inside, right? Now if there is any type of crack or flaw in that solid metal, you cannot find it physically looking at it. So there these ultrasound waves, they come to our help. How come? What we do is, we will pass these ultrasound waves from this particular metal. This is a metal block, right? And here we have the detectors which will detect the ultrasound waves. Being high frequency waves, they will pass through this solid metal block. Now if this metal block is perfectly fine, then these ultrasound waves, they will pass through the metal block and they will be received by the detectors, and we can conclude that the metal block is alright, perfectly fine from inside. But if there is any flaw or if there is any crack or defect inside the metal block, then these ultrasound waves, they will strike this flaw, this crack, and they will reflect back. So in this particular portion, we see that there are no ultrasound waves coming to the detectors, due to which we may conclude that there is some defect or flaw or crack inside this metal block. So this is the first application of ultrasound, right? Let us see the second application. Ultrasound waves are used to clean the hard to reach parts of objects, such as the spiral tubes or odd shaped machines and electronic components, right? There are certain type of equipment and machinery in which there are certain parts where we don't have any kind of human reach, right? So when there are some dirt or dust particles stuck up there, then in order to clean them, because they are unreachable for us, so that is why what we do is, we just dip them in water and we pass the ultrasound waves. These high frequency waves, they will stir the water with a great force, because of which these dirt and dust particles, they which was sticking to that particular surface, they will fall down, and hence these equipment may be cleaned. So this is another use of ultrasound. Let us see the third use. Now these ultrasound are used, this is very important use, they are used to investigate the internal organs of the human body. What these ultrasound waves are used for are that they are passed inside the human body, they will strike the various organs, and accordingly certain pictures may be formed, and the doctors, the physicians, they try to relate the normalcy, the working structure and size of the various body organs inside our body. This technique is known as ultrasonography. The same ultrasound waves may also be used to actually check the working of heart. That is a different term. When it is used for checking out the normal situation, condition, shape and working of the heart, then that technique is known as echocardiography or ECG. You must have heard this ECG, you must be familiar. This ECG, this is for echocardiography, right? This is one of the very important and wide use of ultrasound. Next, ultrasound are used to investigate the development of fetus, the unborn baby in human body, right? Now this is also very important use that we are talking about here, because the same process can be done using X-rays, but X-rays are quite harmful, especially for the delicate tissues of the baby. So this is very important question that is asked many times in the exam, that why ultrasound waves are better than X-rays to investigate the shape, size, structure and normalcy of the fetus in female body. Why it is so? Because X-rays are harmful and they may cause some damage. The repeated exposure of X-rays is very harmful, especially because of the delicate tissues of the fetus. Right. Next, these ultrasound waves are used to break the stones, the kidney stones. Right. These ultrasound waves are made to strike the stones in the body, where they vibrate them to a great level and many a times it breaks down, and then from the kidneys they can, after breaking down, easily get out of the body through the urine. Clear? So this is also why we use them. Now this ultrasound is used by many organisms also apart from human beings, that is used by the porpoises and the bats. Why? To fly in the dark. The bats, they fly in the dark, right, and they can catch their prey at night time. It's a normal thought that bats can see at night. It's not that they can see at night. The reason is that they have got this wonderful characteristic property in them, this wonderful gift, that they can actually listen to a very high frequency range sound, and they can produce these ultrasonic waves. Fine. How they do it? When they fly at night, whenever they are flying at night, repeatedly they produce these ultrasound waves, and when these ultrasound waves strike any particular surface, it reflects back, they receive that ultrasonic wave, and with the help of those they get their directions. They try to relate exactly as to what is there in front of them, how far it is and whether it is moving or not. So this is how they can fly at night without colliding with any surface, and they can catch their prey. This technique used by bats is known as echolocation. It's a very important 1 mark question. What is echolocation? Right. So it is the technique used by bats to locate their prey at night, producing the ultrasound waves. Got it? Another very important question, that is the last application, very important students. You need to just learn it because this is very important, right. 95% chances are there that this question students encounter, every student faces and gets this question in the exam. So please try to learn it thoroughly, or I will say that cram it. Okay. Now what is sonar? First of all, this is an acronym, right, and this acronym stands for sound navigation and ranging. So this is sonar, this is sound navigation and ranging. Now this sonar is actually one of the uses of ultrasound waves only. How come? Let us see. All the ships, the submarines, they are provided with this device having this sonar technique, right. What they have is, first of all, they have one transmitter, right. This transmitter, it basically produces the ultrasound waves. Now these ultrasound waves traveling through water in the depth of the sea and ocean and aquatic bodies, they will strike the bottom and they will reflect back. Now the reflected ultrasound waves, they are caught by a detector. So there is a transmitter which transmits, and there is a receiver or a detector. Fine. So once this detector detects the ultrasonic waves, what we do is we calculate the time after which we have received this signal that was transmitted from the transmitter. We know the time, then we know the speed of sound waves in water. Making use of these two values, we can calculate the distance. So, this sonar plays a very important role in finding out the distance below the sea level, below the ship and the submarines. Now, this is not all. These sonar equipments, they also enable the ships and submarines for finding out various things. For example, after repeated calculations, then we in the ship we know that exactly where exactly is the seabed, right. But if the next time we are trying to calculate the same and trying to find out, for example, there is a submarine, the enemy submarine. Now, these ultrasonic waves will strike and will come back, and now they have come back comparatively much faster. So, by this the ship is able to relate a few things. One, is there any submarine, is there any enemy submarine down there, or it is also used to find the ship wreckages, like those ships which have drowned in the sea. By this technique the ships can be found, plus the big shoal of fish, right. The people who catch fish, they use this technique of sonar to locate the big shoal of fish where they can find more fish. Got it? So, this is about sonar. It is a 3 marker question, very important, right. You will have to draw this particular figure also. Clear? Now, you have understood this sonar. Let us make it more interesting for you people with the help of an animated video in which you will be able to relate how this sonar actually works. Let us see and study a bit about sonar, sound navigation and ranging. Now, this sonar is a device fitted in sailing ships, trawlers, warships, etc. to locate submarines or shoals of fish or depth of ocean beds. Now, to find the depth of an ocean, a strong ultrasonic wave from the ship is sent towards the bottom of ocean through transmitters. On striking the bottom, we can see the arrows that the ultrasonic wave is reflected upward towards the ship. The reflected wave is received by the suitable receiver. Then we calculate the time taken by the wave to travel from the source of sound to the receiver, and this recorded time is noted down. Now, a hypothetical situation, we have recorded the time to be 2.4 seconds. Knowing the velocity of sound in water, right, it is once again dependent upon many factors. Here we are taking an example of speed of sound or velocity of sound in water to be 1450 meter per second. So, we can calculate the depth of the ocean floor with the following formula. Now, the depth of the ocean floor, alright, the depth of the ocean floor is calculated by the formula velocity of sound in sea water multiplied by time divided by 2. Now, why we have divided it by 2? Because the distance travelled is both ways and we want to find the one way distance, right. So, taking an example of 2.4 seconds, the time taken to record echo by the sonar, and taking the velocity of sound in sea water to be 1450 meter per second, then putting the values in the above formula, we will get the depth of the ocean floor to be 1450 meter per second into 2.4 second divide by 2. Doing the calculations, we will get it to be 1740 meter. So, this is how depth of this particular sea is calculated, right, fine. So, this is about sonar. Now, there is also one important question, that why ultrasound waves are used in sonar. There are two reasons for it, right. What are the reasons? Now, because the ultrasonic waves are high frequency waves, they have high penetrating power, so they penetrate deep inside water. Second important thing, because their range is much more than the normal human range, That is why we don't get confused with these sounds as to the sound of the engines of the submarine or the ships or to any other atmospheric sound. So, these are the reasons why ultrasound waves are used in sonars. Clear? So, this is all about the application of ultrasound. We have seen that ultrasound has a wide application. They are used widely to detect the flaws in metal blocks. They are used to investigate the internal organs. They are used in order to check the development of fetus in the baby. They are also used in the case of bats for their location of prey. They are used in sonars for a wide purpose.